kind of up on point with it. But like Dave Chappelle put out a statement to the effect that he really doesn't want people to watch the Chappelle show anymore, or he wanted people to boycott it or something like that. I don't want to try to paraphrase it because I don't know the exact words, but as a result of what he said towards his feelings towards people watching the show were strong enough to where Netflix didn't even bother putting that up on, their catalog for people to be able to watch it, right? And in this pandemic that we're in, people would be on Netflix binging the Chappelle show, right?
Already did.
That I was binging, and then they just took it off.
Yep.
So,
I reached all of them. I was like, I'm gonna watch all this shit
like,
before it goes.
so without even taking note of how old everybody is, so like what I know for a fact, just judging like off of the level of conversation that we're all having right now, we lived through when Dave Chappelle was on Comedy Central, like new episodes every Wednesday night with the reruns on Sunday night. Like we lived through Dave Chappelle going to Africa, them doing that bullshit with the lost episodes, Dave Chappelle's block party, and then him just going silent for a decade plus, and then having this new run that he's having now, right? We all lived through that. We've seen the career arc of Dave Chappelle in real time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So my first question for y'all, before we get into memories of the Chappelle show, favorite sketches, impact, and all of that, like having lived through and seeing maybe one of the greatest comedians who ever lived, like having seen this and knowing the way he feels about the show, does that change the way you feel about it? Do you agree with his decision to not want people to view it like that, and then Netflix making that choice, or like, where do y'all stand on that? You know what I'm
Can
saying?
I ask a question real quick? Let me ask a question real quick.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna need you to elaborate for the viewers of why
Okay.
Chappelle drift his decision to want his show to be pulled from Netflix and HBO.
Well, in my opinion, I can only give my opinion. In my opinion, I think that he's just at a level, at a space in his life where the work that he's doing right now is more important to him than things that he was doing when he needed the money, than things that he was doing when he maybe felt compromised or maybe was doing something and was being laughed at instead of being laughed with. I think the entire purpose behind him walking away from that $50 million contract from Comedy Central was bigger than just what it was he was doing at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so where I stand with that, I love the Chappelle show. I lived through it. You know what I'm saying? Me and my brother had that shit on DVD. But I'm at a point in my life now where I don't really need to hear people say Rick James bitch and all of that. I don't need that because I was there when it was funny. It's not funny anymore because motherfuckers that wasn't there when it was funny are saying it now. The joke is no longer funny now. It's almost like the joke has become the joke.
It's a
You know what I
dead
mean?
meme. It was a meme back in 2002,
So
2003, 2004.
so like how do y'all feel about that? You know what I'm saying? I want to get all y'all's opinions and how y'all feel about the Chappelle show being taken off Netflix and also kind of how the creator feels about that content.
Oh, anybody want to jump in or?
I'll go first. It's cool.
Don't go all at once.
Yeah.
All right, I'll kick it off a little bit, man. For Chappelle, to take it off the show and to due to I know rumors of that pay issues with Netflix and pay issues with Viacom, CBS, and Comedy Central with that contract and them streaming and doing all the reruns. Basically, with him walking out, basically just disregarding his check and that money that they owed him for 10 years and then coming back and saying, whoa, 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 they made all this and, you know, I'm still kind of empty pocketed from it. But I think, like Jackson said, there's a little bit more to it than that. I think what does it take for someone to walk away from $50 million? You think about that. $50 million. What would it take for anyone to walk away with that, like cash in hand, saying all you got to do is keep doing what you're doing with a little bit of alterations, and and he must have, and we kind of get a sense that he knew what he was doing, the route that he was taking, where we were laughing at him and not with him with some of these jokes. He didn't want to continue that. And so I think it was an image thing. I think him taking the show off Netflix is like an image thing. It's like a celebrity trying to get a damn sex tape removed from the internet, but it's kind of out there. But he's doing his best to make it at least a little bit hard to access that material. I think his material has grown to such a level where you don't need him dressing up as Rick James saying "fuck your couch" anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like his stand up is freaking legendary, and his jokes and his critiques on and social commentary and the way he blends humor and everything all together. He's one of the all-time greats, and he doesn't need to rely no more on the Chappelle show and his previous work to even. I mean, 2002 Dave Chappelle is hella different from 2019, 2020 Dave Chappelle stand up. It's not even close. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't want Half Baked removed from damn streaming services as well. So I think it's just a matter of just him looking at his previous work and saying, I've I've outgrown that. I've plateaued way over than that, and you can get my new content will entertain you farther more than what I did 10 plus years ago. What do you guys think?
I agree with you. I mean, there's a lot of things that Chappelle has done at that time period. It was our escape at that time period. His works. It's almost like, how old is Chappelle now? He's in his early 40s right now or something, or I forgot. I don't know. I can't think of it off the top of my head, man. But you're looking at his creative work. It's almost like, all right, let's say that you're a TikTok artist now, and you made skits and stuff like that, and you make skits on YouTube and stuff like that. And as you grow and you turn like 30 or 40 years old, stuff like that, you're looking back at how you were in your 20s and doing all the goofy ass this stuff like that. I could see how it could be like almost cringeworthy to you a little bit now. It's like, ooh, I can't believe I did that shit, you know.
Mm.
So it's almost like how we probably would look at our shit. Like, I mean, it'd be like watching your own content from when you were a teen doing stupid shit. I remember as a kid, I used to sit here and try to mimic Jackass stuff from MTV. You know.
Oh Lord, everyone did.
Yeah. So if I were to watch that now, I'm like, ooh, that's not me now. That's not me today. I want that shit gone. So maybe that was the headspace that Chappelle was at right now, man. Because there was in 2002, 2003, 2004, man. There was no TikTok. There was no YouTube. There wasn't really like, well, YouTube as it is right now. There wasn't that. There wasn't online media. We had cable television stuff like that. So we would have to catch Chappelle on Wednesday and Sunday. And the fact of the matter is, like, Chappelle was almost like the driving force of all of our inside jokes in our memes at that time. With Rick James bitch and Charlie Murphy and Tyrone the crackhead and shit like that. Doing all this stuff. It was funny. But that work then doesn't represent Chappelle now and stuff. So I mean, it's hard to I mean, I'm just going off of is just what I see. It's not what I really think that is what's going on with what's going on in Chappelle's mind. But from my understanding, he was just telling the fans stuff like that, man. It's like, hey, man, like, I would like you guys to boycott my shows, because that doesn't represent my content, and the seeing the fam come through and support Chappelle and whatever he's doing, like, and what he wanted to accomplish was dope, but at the same time, like, a devil's advocate and stuff like that, that's just, man, people remember you for your work at the time. I get it, you don't want to walk around the streets now and somebody shout, I'm Rick James bitch from content 10, 20 years ago. No, you don't want to hear that no more, because that's not your representation now. So, but at the same time, like I said, some people equate that as Miss Chappelle, that was your best work. I feel like more people need to see it, because if that's the case, it's like if that's the case, if comedians felt like felt like that about all the prior work, stuff like that. What if Eddie Murphy would have been like, oh man, pull down Delirious? It's on Netflix right now. You know, if Eddie Murphy was like, pull that shit down because I didn't appreciate the gay joke that I made on there about like woo woo woo. I didn't appreciate that. You know.
Hmm.
You know, what if Eddie Murphy would have done that? What if Kevin Hart would have sat there and says, pull down all my old stuff because that doesn't represent me now. Even though his stand up now, people are giving him shit about his current stand up now. But he's something like that's old Kevin. This is new Kevin. You know, you guys have to get adjusted to the new Kevin. I don't represent old Kevin anymore. You know, I feel like
All
that's
right.
probably the direction that Chappelle was probably going. He's like, hey, that's old Chappelle. This is new Chappelle. I don't represent old Chappelle anymore. That's your work. I know we were all in school days at that time, so we'll just remember all the stupid shit we were shouting in the hallways. No one asked for get in trouble. Talking like I'm James, bitch. But
Game set
you know,
blouse.
yeah,
Oh man.
yeah.
Man, I don't see. I just don't see him having it took down due to this is something new I'm doing now. I don't want to be reminded about the past because the Dave Chappelle show it was golden, man. And I don't care what nobody say. 10 years from now, it'll still be golden to new watches, man. That's like one of the one comics I could say that has a sense of humor like I would have outside of Bernie Bernie Mac. Just say what people are afraid to say.
Mm.
Mhm.
You know, we need that. Like, especially in this age where everybody's so scared and we're in like, oh, cancel this person, cancel that person, because they got an opinion that don't match mine. I mean, some of his funniest shit was on the Chappelle show, man. Like, I could remember going in my car on break and watching the show in my van and stuff, cutting up and stuff, having so many memories. There's skits up there to this day that's still relevant to me.
Oh yeah.
True, true.
Like he got one skit that I thought was funny as hell. The Tupac skit. Yeah, when Tupac was talking about shit that happened, like way after he supposedly had died and stuff, man. It's like the little stuff, man. That dude was like he's just so hilarious to me. So I don't know why he would ask to take it down. I feel like maybe it could be a money issue. I don't know. Maybe they not paying him what he feel like he should be getting paid. But like as far as changing, he ain't really changed too. He's changed a little bit, but he ain't changed too much and stuff. You know, he's talking about transgender. Come on now,
True.
like that's a touchy subject. You know, in itself. But he makes it funny, man. I hear a lot of comics say he has that gift to talk about stuff in a certain way to where you're gonna laugh at it and not be upset. And we really need more of that. So them taking it, him asking to take it down, I can't fathom why, man. I don't know, man. I just know I got a lot of laughs off Dave Chappelle. Period. The Klansman episode, yo, those shits was like fucking hilarious. The niggas
Hey yo,
episode,
wait, hold on, bro. Bro, and you know what's crazy is that there was really a dude somewhere down south that like was really like the character that he was in that sketch, bro.
right? Man, he got so much like gold just to take that down. Like I can't find a Dave Chappelle DVD nowhere. So when it was on Netflix, I said, "Oh, this is the business." But like I don't, man, I just don't know, man. I don't know what could have been going through his mind. I think maybe it's got to be a pay issue. I don't know, because you can never forget where you come from, you know, but it's not going to change where you're going. So I don't see how leaving his work up would hurt what he's doing now. If it didn't hurt him back then, it's damn sure not about to hurt him now. So
All right, Daniel, where you at, brother?
Well, I mean, from what I heard about the whole entire situation, because trust me, you got a lot of people that support him. You also got a lot of people that hate on him right now too. From what I've heard, 'cause I'm not exactly sure what is real or not at this point, is that apparently he had a deal with Viacom or one of them or what have you to have Chappelle show go to Netflix or what have you, and that I guess he signed off on it and he basically signed his rights away from Chappelle show and they gave it to Netflix and whatever else like that. Somewhere along the lines, he was like, you know what, I'm not feeling this deal. I want to step out of it and go and went from there. And apparently Viacom, whoever them was like, well, sorry, bro, you don't give your rights away. Like we ain't giving this back. So then at that point, that was when Chappelle went and told everybody. He was like, well, look, if if y'all gonna try to hit me over the head like that, then all right, well, Netflix, I want you to take this down. And Netflix, since they already had a deal with him for his stand-ups, and knowing that people will literally subscribe to Netflix just so they can watch Dave Chappelle stand-up, Netflix was like, okay, we'll go and take it off if it pleases you, Dave. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, they realize it's a business. If they can go ahead and please Dave Chappelle now, then when they need Dave Chappelle to step up for them later on and make another show for them or something like that, saying he'll be more than happy to help them out. So with that being said, I mean, it's weird because I'm kind of with Joseph. I don't think it was so much of a business decision. I mean, it wasn't so much of a creative decision where he was like, well, I don't want to see myself. I don't want to see myself from 20 years ago still doing these same jokes and everything like that. I think it was more so that real talk. He was mad because they played him, and he was like, all right, well, if y'all gonna play me, then I'm gonna play y'all the best way I know how to play y'all, and that's to take away the one thing that y'all want more than anything, and for Netflix to go ahead and agree to him wanting to take down his Chappelle show off of Netflix, then it's kind of like, okay, now y'all really starting to see what kind of power Dave Chappelle has here, because
I love that.
If he can make Netflix of all people take down his
Man,
TV show and say, I want it down because I want it down, and Netflix says, yeah,
bro,
I mean, look, sky's the limit at that point. You know what I mean?
I love that. I mean, I really do. I genuinely like that because it's almost like he gets his payback 20 years later.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it feels
Mm.
like it feels like he gets his payback on Viacom and Comedy Central 20 years later. Like, you know what?
Mm,
Y'all played me back in 2005 and made me look crazy for going back to Africa and doing this free stand up show for my hometown people that I live with. Like the people who were at his block party in that movie were literally people who lived in his neighborhood. After
hmm
Dave Chappelle's block party came out, you didn't see him again until he wanted you to
for a
see him
while.
again.
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
about a
it
Yeah,
while.
was
yeah.
it was all kind of rumors about Dave Chappelle between when he left and turned down that 50 million to when you seen him again pop up on Netflix, right? Like they were saying he was smoking crack, he went crazy, XYZ, all kind of shit. When in reality, behind the scenes, there was some shit going on that maybe he didn't agree with. It got to the point where the comedy that he was making, that type of content that he was putting out to give people insight into what it's like to be a black male in America at that time, like that type of content, maybe it felt like it was something that was getting away from him. Maybe it felt like, again, like Donovan was saying, we were no longer laughing at his jokes, but we were laughing at him. So for him to be able to say, I'm Dave Chappelle, I don't want y'all to watch this show, and then Netflix to be like, oh shit, Dave Chappelle said he doesn't want people to watch his show. We need to take this down because ain't nobody gonna watch it. Like, I'm okay with that. I love the Chappelle show as much as all everybody that's on this conversation right now. But if he gets to get the W over the people that he felt like exploited him at a time where he couldn't defend himself, then fuck it, bro. I don't need to watch the Chappelle show on Netflix because I was able to watch it when it was on TV when everything was fresh. You know what I'm saying? I got another point I want to make, but I'm gonna let it breathe for a second, man. I'm gonna go ahead and mute my mic real quick because I didn't mean to interrupt you, Daniel. My bad, dog.
No, you're
Nah,
good.
nah, man, it's fine. Nah, it's because it's crazy because I'm not sure like rest in peace because the guy who did it, I think he's dead now. The guy who used to do what's that show behind the scenes or inside the studio or something like that on Bravo. I forgot his name. The white
Charlie
dude with the
Rowe.
beard.
Yeah, Charlie
Yeah,
Rowe
there you go.
inside the
Uh,
actor's studio.
yeah, it's like at the studio. He sat down with Dave Chappelle right after Dave had left that deal, that 50 million deal, and went to Africa and sat down with them and was like, hey Dave, like, talk to us, what happened? And Dave pretty much came out and said it without saying it. He's like, look, he's like, y'all not understanding. Like, there's aspects about this business that people don't understand that it's some stuff. And because of
Mm.
that, I didn't want to be a part of that anymore. And when Charlie Rowe tried to ask him a little bit more, try to give him the press, Dave almost seemed like he was almost scared to even talk about it. So it makes you kind of think, man, like, I don't want to start sounding like conspiracy theorists or anything else like that, bro. But in my personal opinion, man, like, I think that there actually is a real life Illuminati and stuff like that be sitting there kind of controlling stuff from the background. And I feel like they probably came to Dave Chappelle when that deal went down, and they were like, Dave, you gonna do this and you gonna start doing stuff like that. And when Dave was like, nah, bro, I don't want to do that, they were like, okay, well, if you don't want to do it, we're gonna do the same way we did Michael Jackson. We're gonna make everybody seem like you crazy and that you got all this other stuff going on with you, when in reality, he just didn't want to play their game.
Facts.
But that's all I'm gonna say about that. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I'll just say this, man, that an artist in control of their art in a commercial environment, that's mad respect. That is a mad respect right there. Not a lot of people can be in this position, and he fought hard for it to go away for 10 years. I mean, shit, what you just spoke of, that would make any motherfucker go away for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, I'll hide
Yeah.
out in Zimbabwe or the Congo, whatever, man. Some shit like that was seriously coming after my ass. So, I mean, big props for him to come back, like you said, kind of get his revenge a little bit on Viacom and to kind of get that catalog out of their streaming service and say, hey, you gotta get this shit
Yep.
on DVD or Blu-ray to see that shit now. So or YouTube
Yep.
if it don't get shut down. So I got a lot of respect for Dave
Hmm.
Chappelle for doing that and to get a second win in his career and to him to grow and evolve into one of the greatest comedians of all time, and to say the shit that he's saying. I mean, what was his last YouTube special, dude? Netflix didn't even want to put it on their
Oh my
streaming
God,
platform.
that
That
shit was
shit was
hard.
incredible. Was it
Like
21, 15, 15
that shit
something?
was, bro. Oh
Oh
my
man,
God.
that was
That
incredible.
that yeah, man. And like, I all right. See, now I'm gonna get a little bit controversial, just a
All right, go
little bit,
ahead. You're a little heated. Go ahead, man.
a little bit controversial. And I really wanna get y'all's opinion on this here, right? Because one of the things that to this day there's man, and I don't want to sound wrong when I say this, so I'm gonna be careful what I'm gonna say, but I know all of y'all are gonna understand it, right? There are white people who don't like black people that love the Chappelle show. See what I'm saying? The
Ooh.
Chappelle show,
Yep.
the Chappelle
Mm.
show did just enough to provide insight into what black people are like to make white people feel like it's okay to get into things that we're interested in, right? For a lot of white folks, the Chappelle show was their introduction to black culture. To this day, there are white people that do not like black people that will tell you, I'm Rick James, bitch, or you know what I'm saying? I'm rich, bitch. Hump hump. Or you know
Mm,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
Talk to you about the racial draft and for shizzle or the making the band skit where he was pretending to be P. Diddy. But once they
right.
separate once they separate the entertainment aspect of the Chappelle show and then get back to real life, they don't care about black folks, right? And
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep it real. There was always something about that didn't sit right with me, and I've always respected Dave Chappelle because I feel like there is a part of that he understood as well, to where he doesn't even make references to that point in his career because a certain thing. You know what I'm saying? Like Donovan, me and you were stationed up in Minot together. How many times on the way on the bus ride into the restricted area did you hear motherfuckers at the back of the bus talking about the Chappelle show? But then the day after the election in 2016, they was honk honk and chewing on the Trump train.
You know what that
Bro,
reminds me of
man.
too? That
What up?
reminds me of you remember Chris Rock famous sketch, the difference between black people and niggas.
Yes, yes.
And look, it's crazy because if you talk to Chris Rock now, Chris Rock said he said one of his worst mistakes he ever made as a comedian was telling that joke because it almost gave white people an excuse to say the things that they say about race and how they feel about black people and joking about it where they're like, well, I mean, that's the reason why there's a difference between black people and
Right,
niggas. And it's like, well, hold on now. That joke was for us from Chris Rock. That had nothing to do with white people, but
right.
y'all took that as that was y'all excuse to get y'all black pass to say whatever you want. And that's not how it goes.
Exactly.
Ooh.
And I refuse. I refuse to allow somebody to say I'm not racist because I watched the Chappelle show.
Tell show, yeah.
Oh
Like
shit.
you
That's a
see what
t-shirt right there. That's going on the website.
You
Well,
know,
I mean, as basically what I'm saying, like it's been like this idea of like Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, all these different black artists are coming out here making social commentary about what it is to be a black person in America and living
right.
and making comedy about it because that's how we've gotten through our almost 400 or 500 years of pain is by
Mm-hmm.
laughing at it, dancing, and trying to get through it. But y'all want
hmm
to take that comedy that we see as supposed to
Hmm.
be yeah, just entertainment and something to help us get through the process. Y'all are taking it as, oh, well, if they're saying it, then guess what? I should be able to say it
Right.
because it's for everybody. And it's like that's not how that goes. That's why
hmm
to not get off topic, but to bring up Kendrick Lamar, right? Y'all saw the video on YouTube years and years ago where Kendrick Lamar brought the white girl up on stage to sing
It
Mad
was
City.
She said nigga on stage.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he
yeah.
kept
That
talking
was
about
it
yeah,
that.
was it
yeah,
was
that
a it
one.
was a it was a backseat freestyle, I think.
oh yeah, you
And
right.
she's going through the song, and the entire time you see Kendrick kind of got his ear looking at her like, "Are you really gonna say it?" And guess what she did? She
Hmm.
said it. And but
Right.
not no and look not one time and was like, "Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna censor myself for the rest of the song." She kept saying it, and every time she said it, Kendrick stopped the song and said, "Look, you not understanding what I'm trying to tell you right now. I
No.
don't want you to say that. I want you to sing the song and censor yourself." Song starts back up. She starts doing it again. It's this
Right.
idea that black entertainment has now somehow given white people
Right.
the authority to come in and start using our comedy and our words and our culture and our language
Woo! Say it
against
again,
us.
man.
But
Say
then
that
you
shit
don't want.
again.
I mean, it's just like I was talking to my mother the other day. It's like, look, we're referencing, ironically, Paul Mooney from the Chappelle Show. What did he say?
Hell yeah.
He said everybody wants to be a nigga, but no one wants to be a nigga. You want
Right.
our
Right.
style, you want our
Facts.
culture, you want our
So
music, you want our jokes, you want everything about us, but you don't want to go through what we had to go through to get to this point.
right.
So
And
of course Dave Chappelle is gonna be upset when he sees people acting like this and everything like that. When he had to go through what he had to go through to get to this point, of course he's not going to sit there and let people try to talk him or the PC police come out here and try to tell him what he doesn't want to say. And just like you were saying before, just someone was said before, the reason why people like Chappelle is because Chappelle is not afraid to say what's on his
well,
mind, but he but
hey,
he has a way of saying it so that you're laughing about it, but it makes you think about it at the
It's,
same time.
go ahead, Joseph. I hear you in the back, brother. Go ahead.
for years, it's always been okay as long as we're juking and jiving and stuff.
Yes.
But the moment we got something to say, it's like we get censored. Motherfuckers want to censor. They don't want to hear it.
You're being too aggressive.
Yeah, I am. I am.
No, 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 no. I'm not saying you're being aggressive. I'm saying
Oh,
that's the attitude that they have for us. That the moment that you
oh
want to
yeah,
speak out
facts.
about something, they say you're aggressive.
Hold on. We'll get to that in a minute. Keep cooking, Joseph. Keep
Keep going,
cooking,
keep going.
brother.
Yeah.
Oh no, no, no. I kind of lost track, but it's like that's the one thing that really made me love the Chappelle show because he wasn't like afraid to say something and get certain things across. I miss comedians like Bernie Mac for that same thing, because even though Steve Harvey is like a king of comedy, it's certain shit he won't say. Like when that shit was going down with
Monique, we did
Monique,
stand up for
yeah,
Monique. Yeah.
he
Yeah,
didn't back
yeah,
he
Monique.
didn't back her up. A lot of them, they didn't back her up. They like fed her like to the wolves.
They got too comfortable with Hollywood.
Yeah,
That was
So
messed up.
so this is the other thing I want to say, just to keep it kind of on track with what we saying here, right? Like the thing, like Daniel, Joseph, both of y'all are on point with the Chappelle show as well. The thing that I think about the most, and the only other show that was able to do it to the same effect was the Boondocks. Those were the only
yeah,
two shows during that period of time that made you laugh, right? It
right.
made you laugh. It gave you insight into you know what I'm saying, being black in America, but it also kind of made you feel a certain way about laughing at it. See what I'm saying? They
Yeah,
didn't
Yeah.
kick they didn't kick knowledge to you per se, but you had to think about what was being told to you before you laughed about it. You were laughing because it was funny, but you also felt a little bit uncomfortable about it because you knew it was pushing that line a little bit.
right. You had
And
to read between the lines.
right, and the thing is, when it gets to the point where people stop reading between the lines and then just look at it as entertainment, and then once they turn the Chappelle show off, or once they turn the Boondocks off, you go back to feeling the same type of way about people of color than you did before you was watching it, then that's when questions got to start getting asked, like, why am I doing this? Why is this type of content available to people who are only going to look at me as a vessel of entertainment, as opposed to really trying to change the way that they think about it? And
Right.
again, I'm not gonna slander Dave Chappelle under any circumstance, because I know he was smart enough to read between them lines and be like, you know what, fuck it, man. Y'all can have that $50 million. I gotta stand on something. And you know what I'm saying? Back in 2005, I'm pretty sure Dave Chappelle never would have thought that he could get payback on, you know what I'm saying, this multimedia corporation that he felt like was doing something he wasn't comfortable with. And the fact
Mm.
that he can get a W, I'm all for it, man. We need more of that. I,
We
I
do.
need to I need to see more of that. You know what I'm saying? For real, for real. You gonna pay what you owe.
Reparations.
Hey, yo, my question is though, man, like, all right,
Uh-huh.
because we idolize a lot of our black comedians. We definitely
Okay.
do, you know. And the fact of the matter is like a lot of our black comedians, they're able to highlight a lot of our biggest pain points in
Mm-hmm.
our society as black folks and stuff like that. You know, how we have to change your tone when we're around different cultures, stuff like that, you know.
Okay.
And Chappelle was able to make light of a certain situation with the whole what was the racial draft and stuff like that, you know.
Right.
You know, he was able to laugh at a lot of stuff, you know, talking about like, oh yeah, well, you know, you can have Condoleezza Rice, you know, and all that stuff, you know, making funny ass comments,
Right.
talking about like,
Right.
you know, you could have these black folks that we don't want to label as black folks, you could have them, you know, but they were like, you know, but we want Eminem, you know, so it's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's funny stuff like that. He is able to make light of it. However, you know, there's certain things in comedy, especially in black comedy, where they highlight where they have the joke. It's like it's taking our pain and turning it to laughter, which is it's something that our community needs, you know. But the fact of the matter is like, why is it comedy got to be the highlighting factor, you know, for white folks to understand what we go through, though?
Oh
Whoa,
shit.
whoa, 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 whoa. I
Woo.
mean, yeah, I'm muting my mic, brother.
Go ahead, man. Keep cooking. Keep cooking, man. What you keep doing your shit, man. Repeat that again, just one more time. What?
Why is black comedy got to be the only thing that white folks pay attention to when it comes to what's really troublesome here in America and stuff like that? Like, I just don't understand it at all, you know? Because
Well, mm, mm.
Mm.
I mean, because look at the factors, man. Like, look at the factors, stuff like that. We could talk about it in rap. We could talk about it
Mm-hmm.
and dramatic play and stuff like that. We could sit here and they could see it through slave stories, stuff like that, and they'd be like, "Oh, I don't need to see all that. They don't need to see 12 was it 12 years slavery. They don't need to see
Right,
all that.
right,
They don't want to see all the rough patches that black folks go through and stuff like that. They don't want to see, black men and black women getting whipped on and stuff like that. But however,
right.
when it comes
Or
to
they
funny
put the
topics, stuff like that, they pay attention to and they can sit here and laugh at it. I said, well, if black folks are laughing at it, we can laugh at it too.
Right.
What gives you the right? You know, like
Oh man.
I'm, you know, the one thing.
Lord have mercy.
Y'all finna
But,
have me pour
you're right.
another drink, bro. I'm really about to pour another drink, man.
But
I'm
that's a
I'm
serious,
just
but that's a serious topic though. But like to be quite honest, it's like that. So like it had to be comedy to make light of certain situations though, for real. To for other countries to understand what we go through, like the Hispanics, the Asians, the Middle East, stuff like they can understand what we go through. Some instances that's different from others, stuff like that. But when it comes to, laughing about culture, stuff like that, when it comes to, how we have Tyler Perry dressing up as
oh man,
Medea.
Uh-oh.
brother,
Hmm.
brother. I'm pouring another drink, man. Hashtag hashtag blame the liquor. T-shirts, hoodies, long sleeve shirts. Go ahead, continue, bro.
All created by Orion Graphics, by the way.
Absolutely.
But this is one of these things that like, no, this is just like not even just speculation, just analyzations of years of watching comedian step. We're talking from Richard Pryor all the way up, from from everybody that's talking about their struggles living in America Black, and you got everybody else. You got everybody else that's actually tuned in and listen to this stuff. They're really they're keen in and stuff like that. And they're laughing about it. We're able to make light of the situation and stuff like that. But however, when it comes to when it comes to comedy and stuff like that, it is actually our real pain. It's actually their pain. It's actually their pain that's represented. It's almost like they're a spokesman of us, displaying it in entertainment form, in comedy form. However, when it comes to really looking at the situation, nobody's like, it's almost like nobody's really paying attention or outcry. They're just looking at it as jokes. Like, why is it taking so
Fact.
long?
No,
It's the same thing with sports. I mean, look at what I'm saying. I don't want to get off topic, but it kind of goes along with it. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
go ahead, man. Kick it, kick
Like
it.
like you have all these comedians come out trying to speak about being Black American and issues that we got going on. Okay,
hmm
y'all don't want to listen to us because it's comedy. You got athletes. You got LeBron James. You got Colin Kaepernick. You got all these different athletes who wanted to use their platforms to help promote social
Yep.
change and bring up these things. And then what do they get told? Oh, shut up, stop talking, just play ball. We don't want to hear what you got
Now,
to say.
now, 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 Daniel, let me ask you a quick question here, bro.
Mm.
As a, and I don't want to take it somewhere that it doesn't need to be taken. But as a, no, but this is a legit question here. You know what I'm saying? And I
Mm.
mean, Orion, like everybody in here can chime in. But Daniel, I want to ask you this question as a veteran, as somebody that raised your right hand and took a pledge to put your life on the
Twice,
line twice, right?
twice.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm you know what I mean? Yeah, we like Donovan, you know what I'm saying? Orion, like we all have some type of connection with the military service one way or the
Mm.
other, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like so even then, just the fact that even pointing that out, motherfuckers don't really know what they be talking about, bro. A lot of what goes around is really just talk. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
my bad, bro. I just wanted to kind of highlight that because you're not saying this coming from a perspective of somebody that hasn't been willing to put everything on the line for that flag. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. And so it's as because I mean it's crazy too because me and Donovan have talked about this in the past too, where it's like you would think, and the one place where racism shouldn't be a thing or shouldn't appear is in the military. But do you know how many dudes are I'll call it diet racist, because they won't come out. No, for real. Like they won't come out and be like overtly racist in your face. It'll be like a whole bunch of like snide comments about different stuff, like black people this and black people that. Oh, I was just playing, man. I don't really feel like that. I'm just joking around with you. And you sitting here like, okay, you said it's a joke, but then at the end of the day, when everybody's going home and leaving base for the day, oh, you got a Trump Pence 2020 sticker on the back of your truck. It's like, okay, it's like how much of what you're saying is a joke and how much do you actually really feel that way? You see what I'm
But
saying?
guess what they listening to on that ride home though?
I'm rich, man.
See what I'm saying? Like what
Oh,
are they
they're watching
listening to?
all black comedians. All black comedians on
Yes.
Netflix. They're watching it all. It's on their playlist.
Oh, Kevin Hart was
Right.
so
Oh, of
funny
course it
last
is.
night.
Mm.
Oh, really? Oh, tell me more.
But by like listen, I couldn't tell you how many times in guard mount somebody would say bye Felicia,
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
or I'm Rick James, bitch, or
Hmm.
all kind of shit like that. So we all on the same page. But Orion, to answer your question, man, like I think that like at some point entertainment became that outlet, and it literally got to the point where people could not separate entertainment from real life.
Yep.
That's my personal opinion on that, man. Like,
Okay.
Damn,
and
Yeah.
dog.
it shouldn't be like that. It should like I don't want to make it sound like because I do feel a way. I feel a certain type of way about all of that. You know what I'm saying? I feel a way about all of everything that we brought up here. You know what I'm saying? As a fact, like the only like just to get perspective here, the reason why I fuck with like people thought George Lopez was corny, right?
I like him.
No,
I
I
like.
fuck with
But
that shit on Nick at Night, man.
but I fucked with George Lopez as a sitcom and as a stand-up comedian because he was the one that was like, yeah, this is what it's like to be a part of my culture, but I'm the one that's telling you this. And you don't get to dictate to people who look like me what my culture looks like. If it involves people who look like me, I'm gonna have a stamp and tell you what it looks like instead of you being able to tell me what it looks like, right? So
Mm.
if it doesn't got George Lopez's stamp on it, I know that it's bullshit. If Robert Rodriguez isn't involved with it and it's meant to be catered towards the Hispanic culture, and he's not involved, guess what? I know that it's bullshit. You see what I'm
Mm.
saying? But
Hmm.
How do you
when it
feel about
comes,
Gabriel Iglesias?
I mean, yeah, hey, you know what? I fuck with him
I,
too, though.
I
He's a
like him
funny
too.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a funny guy. Like he's a funny cat. Like, but there's a level of checks and balances that are occurring there because his people know that he's a legit motherfucker, right? But when's the last time y'all heard about Carlos Mencia? Where's Carlos Mencia at?
Right. Joe Rogan killed
Joe
that
Right?
Rogan got
career.
his ass off the stage.
You know what I'm
Got him, man.
Mm.
Dee, dee, dee. Gone.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Gone.
like I like this shit got pretty deep, bro. But like I know we got sidetracked, but like I'm glad that we able to have this conversation, man. And I appreciate y'all, brothers, because I agree with a lot of what y'all were saying.